Though he was in the form of God, Jesus did not deem equality with God something to be grasped. Rather, he emptied himself and took the form of a slave, being born in the likeness of men. He humbled himself, obediently accepting even death on the cross. And because of this, God greatly exalted him and bestowed the name upon him, which all other names, and every knee shall bow. Jesus Christ is Lord. That was our first reading yesterday. And you need to know that going into this reading this morning. It's just a continuation. The next verse. We ended with verse 11. We are in verse 12 now. St. Paul tells us, my beloved, obedient as you have always been. There's that word obedience again. Just like Jesus was obedient to the Father. Work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Then notice all the sacrificial words in here. These are sacrificial terms. Blameless, innocent. The sacrificial victim, the animal, always had to be blameless, innocent, and also in the next line, without blemish. And then St. Paul says that he pours himself out as a libation, again, another term of sacrifice, upon the sacrificial service of your faith. We are called to take on the mind and attitude of Jesus. Jesus stripped himself of his divinity, embraced our humanity for what purpose? To offer it to God. He is then only exalted by the Father after the sacrifice. That's the life of a Christian. Take on the mind and attitude of Christ. You and I are meant and called to be a sacrifice to the Father with fear and trembling. Not in the sense of fear and trembling of anxiety, but fear and trembling in the sense of the awe, the reverence of God. That God is putting this desire and work in us to be what? Through the sacrifice, to be a light to the nations. The world needs light. The world doesn't believe in goodness. The world doesn't believe that the human person can live a life of virtue and goodness. The world doesn't believe we can give our lives over in faith to the Father as a sacrifice to him. It doesn't believe it. It doesn't think it's possible. That's how we are the light to the nations, light to the world. Being a Christian is hard, but this world and this generation, St. Paul says, even in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among you shall shine like lights in the world. We're also in a crooked and perverse generation. We need lights in the world. Are you going to take on, and am I, myself included, going to take on that life, that attitude of Jesus Christ? Though the one who had all the glory and the divinity as the Son of the beloved Father strips himself of it, takes on humanity, and offers his life for the salvation of the world. As we hear in the gospel, we are called to what? What does Jesus say about the cross? Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Cannot be my disciple. The light to the world changes the world. The light of the world doesn't move with the world. Are we going to take on that mind and attitude of Christ and be that light? May God bless you.